The next handheld console war might be over before it even gets started. For years, Nintendo has been the undisputed king of portable gaming, and everyone's waiting to see if the Switch 2 can keep that streak going. But while we've all been watching Nintendo, new leaks have uncovered Sony's secret weapon. A rumored PS6 handheld with specs so powerful doesn't just compete with the Switch 2, it makes it look like a kid's toy from a different generation. We're talking about a power difference that could completely reshape what we expect from gaming on the go. This isn't just a little more horsepower. If the rumors are true, this device that will be a massive leap ahead of the competition right out of the box. So today we're digging into the proof. We're looking at the leaked specs, the massive game library advantage, and a release strategy that could give Sony the win before the fight even begins. Let's get into how big this power gap really is. First things first, let's be clear. Everything we're about to talk about comes from leaks and rumors from credible hardware insiders like Moore's Law's dad, Kepler L2, and Sony hasn't confirmed a thing, but the details they're reporting are just too specific and too juicy to ignore. The rumored Sony handheld is codenamed Project Canis. Now, this isn't another PlayStation Portal for streaming, this is a real native gaming handheld, and according to the leaks, the machine is an absolute monster. It's supposedly built on TSMC's cutting-edge 3nm process, which is a manufacturing technology that's smaller, faster, and way more power efficient than anything in consoles today. Inside, it's rumored to pack a custom AMD chip with a 6 cores and 6 CPU and a beefy RDNA 5 GPU with 16 compute units. And if you don't speak chipset, just know this, that's a next-gen tech and it hasn't even been made available to the PC market just yet. To back up all that power, leaks points to an incredible 24GB of super fast LPDDR5X memory. That's double what's rumored for the Switch 2 and even more than what's inside of the Xbox Series S, which is a full-blown home console. Based on some rough math from leakers, the PS6 handheld is estimated to be nearly 3 times faster than the Switch 2 when both are docked. Even wilder is the performance in handheld mode. Leaks suggest that while the Switch 2 will have to seriously slow down its chip to save battery, the PS6 handheld's more efficient 3nm design lets it keep most of its power on the go. Some insiders claim this could make the PS6 handheld, even when unplugged, almost twice as fast as a docked Switch 2. One leaker even claimed that Project Canis could outperform the Xbox Series S in complex stuff like ray tracing, which would just be unheard of for a handheld. So the PS6 handheld is by all accounts ridiculously powerful, but what does that mean for playing games? A 3 times performance lead isn't just a number, it's the difference between a game struggling at 720 30 frames per second and one that runs locked at 60 or even 120 FPS at a crisp native resolution. It's a difference between seeing a scaled down texture and tiny worlds and getting huge detailed open worlds with almost no load times, and the kind of thing you expect from a home console, of course. But the biggest weapon against the Switch 2 might not even be the hardware, it's the game library. The single most important feature mentioned in these leaks is that the PS6 handheld is designed for full native backwards compatibility with both PS4 and PS5 games. This isn't some workaround or some cloud streaming trick. Leaked documents apparently say the device is being built from the ground up to run the entire PS4 and PS5 library natively. And this is the killer app. On day 1, the PS6 handheld would launch with a ready-made library of thousands of amazing games like God of War, Elden Ring, Spider-Man 2, Horizon Forbidden West, all of them playable on the go right from your existing digital library. Sony's reportedly even pushing developers to better support a low power mode on the PS5, which a lot of insiders think is just a way to get the current PS5 library ready and optimized for handheld hardware from the start. Now, think about the Switch 2. It will have awesome Nintendo exclusives and backwards compatibility with the first Switch, sure, But the library of modern third-party AAA games will completely depend on developers spending tons of time and money to make heavily downgraded ports. Why would you wait for a compromised version of a game on the Switch 2 when you could play the full fat PS5 version on the Sony's handheld from day one? For anyone who wants to play the biggest titles, Sony's rumored plans creates a massive, almost unbeatable advantage right from the start. You might be thinking, okay, so it sounds more powerful, but the Switch 2 is coming way sooner, and you're right, the Switch 2 is already out, and the PS6 handheld isn't expected until late 2027 or 2028, but probably alongside the PS6 console. But that delay might actually be in Sony's best interest. By waiting, Sony lets Nintendo release the Switch 2, set its price, show all of its cards, then a year or two later, they can swoop in with a device that is obviously way more powerful, making the Switch 2 feel dated from the start. It's a classic strategy: let your opponent make their first move, then blow them out of the water. Of course, that kind of power won't be cheap, and leakers are guessing the PS6 handheld will be at a premium price, costing somewhere between $500 to $700, and that's a lot more than a Switch 2 probably will be. But Sony is betting that the performance and the instant library will make it all worth it. They aren't trying to sell this as a toy, they're selling it as a portable powerhouse, a handheld pro for people who are serious about gaming. And to help justify that price, leaks also point to a big advantage in upscaling. While the Switch 2 is expected to use a version of the Nvidia's DLSS, Sony is rumored to be using its own next-gen AI upscaling, PSSR2, that insiders claim could deliver even better image quality, sharper graphics on top of a huge performance lead would really sell it in the best powerful handheld experience on the market. But now, this doesn't mean Project Canis is a guaranteed slam dunk. There are still some big question marks, and the biggest one is battery life. Pushing that much power in a handheld is a huge technical hurdle, and we'll have to wait and see if Sony can deliver a decent amount of playtime. Also, the handheld is expected to be digital only, which might turn off some players who love physical copies or rely on the used game market. And Sony isn't just taking on Nintendo here. This device is a clear shot at the entire PC handheld market, gunning for the space owned by Steam Deck and the ROG Ally by offering a clean console-like experience with the power of a PC and the killer exclusives of PlayStation. Sony is trying to become the one and only king of high-end portable gaming. So where does that leave us? We have a rumored handheld with a processor that's generation ahead of the competition, a device that could be up to 3 times faster than the Switch 2, an instant game library of thousands of best games in the last 10 years, and a release plan designed to steal all of Nintendo's thunder right when they're getting comfortable. And of course, this is all based on leaks and rumors, but nothing is real until Sony gets on stage and says it is. But if these leaks are even close to being true, the device they're describing isn't just another handheld, it's a statement, it's a performance beast looking ready to completely take over the market from day one. The only real question left is Nintendo's long reign over the handheld world finally about to come to an end? And here is where I ask you, do you think Nintendo can be beat by this PS6 handheld that Sony's cooking? They've been putting a tons of effort and it seems to be super powerful, but will Nintendo exclusives shine brighter? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. It's been Berry Games, and I really appreciate you being here. Smash that like and subscribe button, as it really does help me out for the YouTube algorithm. And as usual, have a great day.